The points A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H are equally spaced along a fraction number line. So the first question here is, what fraction corresponds to point G? Well, I know that C corresponds to 1/3 and H corresponds to 3/4. So let's first try to get these fractions into the same denominator. And the least common denominator here between 3 and 4 would be 3 times 4, or 12. So let's write each of these fractions in terms of 12ths. So this first one, I would multiply the top and bottom by 4. That would turn it into 4 over 12. This one, 3/4, I'd multiply the top and bottom by 3. Oops. And I would end up with 9/12. All right, so from C to H, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps. From 4 to 9, it's 5 steps. So it looks like that each of these letters is another 12th. So D would be 5 over 12, E 6/12, 7/12, 8/12. And if I go backwards, that'd be 3/12 and 2/12. So what fraction corresponds to G? That looks like 8/12. So for G would be 8/12, which reduces to divide by 4, top and bottom would be 2/3. What lettered point corresponds to 1/4? Well, 1/4, see if I multiply the top and bottom by 3 to get the 12ths, that's 3/12. That matches with B. So B would be the answer for part B. And then what letter point corresponds to 49 over 84? Well, 49 over 84, looks like those are both divisible by 7. And that would be 7/12. And that matches with F. The operations of addition and subtraction of fractions have the same basic meanings, the same basic concepts as addition and subtraction of whole numbers. Addition is the combining or putting together of two or more amounts. Subtraction can involve the takeaway concept, the missing add-in concept, or the comparison concept. All right, so for example, Grandma Pat made an apple pie and cut it into 6 equal pieces. Her granddaughter Jessica ate 1 piece of the pie for breakfast and 2 pieces of the pie for lunch. What fraction of the entire pie did she eat? Well, since the pie was cut into 6 pieces, each piece was 1/6 of the entire pie. So therefore, we have the following, that breakfast was 1/6, lunch was 2 of the pieces. Put them together, that means that half the pie was eaten. So we can reduce the fraction 3/6 to lowest terms, and it becomes 1/2. So Jessica ate 1/2 of the pie. We found the sum of these fractions by adding the numerators and putting them over the denominator, which was common to both fractions. This process is the same whenever fractions with a common denominator are being added. So, to add fractions with common denominators, you add the numerators and put the sum over the common denominator. Reduce this fraction to lowest terms, unless it's already in lowest terms. So symbolically, A over B plus C over B is the A plus C on top over B. So just leave those denominators alone. For instance, if in my change, if I have 1/4 and then got 2 more quarters, that's going to be 3/4. I leave the quarter, there's still going to be quarters regardless. For another example, for this number line, I go 3/8 and then I add 2/8, I'm at 5/8. So again, leave the denominators alone. So 4/12 plus 1/12 would be 4 plus 1 over 12, which is 5/12. 2, and that looks reduced. 2/9 plus 4/9 would be 2 plus 4 over 9. That's 6 over 9. And both of those can be divided by 3, so I end up with 2/3. A single serving of oatmeal recipe calls for 1/4 cup of milk and 3/4 cups of water. How many cups of liquid are in the recipe? Well, there's 1/4 of a cup of milk and 3/4 cups of water. That comes out to be 1 + 3, or 4/4, or 1 cup of liquid. A tile that is 5/8 inch thick is laid on top of a plywood that is 7/8 inch thick. How thick is the flooring? So here we have 5/8, and we're putting on top some plywood that's 7/8. So if I add the numerators, 5 + 7 is 12 over 8. I can reduce that to 4 over 3, or I can write that as 1 1/3. And then my units are inch. So 1 1/3 inches thick.